This is an unbelievable story. I have the opportunity to write my own spy story, only unlike the fiction I read, this stuff is true. What if I told you that in the 1950s, ordinary Americans joined spy rings with the goal of putting post-war Nazis and fascists out of business? Americans believed after World War II, they became part of a greatest generation, urging peace and cooperation, but that was far from the truth. Hate groups, anti-Semitism, racism more than doubled between 1940 and 1946, and the end of one war brought the beginning of another war. Only this time it was a civil war. Because the FBI was slow to act, many ordinary Americans said, I'm standing up to fight against this level of hate. They went undercover to spy on those who preached hate and death to anyone who did not look like them, worship like them. They ultimately intercepted terror plots. They stopped the bombings of churches and synagogues. The most important spy being Manna Trujillo. That was his code name. His real name was Emmanuel Trujillo. And he rose up to become the #2 person in the post-war American Nazi Party. He was communicating with more fascist and Nazi leaders around the world than the CIA and helped bring down the National Renaissance Party. How can the bravery of these undercover operatives, these men and women willing to risk their life, inspire us? Because hate is never unopposed. Even in the darkest of moments, there are always Americans who have fought back. There are always Americans who realize that the fight for democracy is not something that you fight in your head. It's something that you have to fight on the ground.